Hi everyone, it's Sarah Keen. It's been a while since I put out a video, but I'm really feeling called to share some things that I see happening in the larger collective consciousness, the larger collective of humanity, and things that are pretty important for our trajectory at this point as a spiritual community. There the mass awakening that has been in the process of happening for the last decade is really getting to a very big tipping point where a lot of souls that were from the first and second generation or waves of souls that had come to help awaken and guide other souls through their spiritual awakening on this planet in this time space, we we are reaching a critical mass of awakening that then allows us to release our karmic imprints and move forward to wherever it is that we're going, what soul group we're going to move back toward working with, being in councils that we've been in, other dimensions or realms that we were working in prior. We are going, many of these first and second guardians, first and second wave guardians are going to be moving back after this lifetime to those places. And what's happening right now is that there's some challenges that we have to move beyond and not get caught up in order to totally free ourselves from this kind of matrixy trap that we had been in for quite a while, just reincarnating over and over and over into the humanity realm. And it's being brought in by something that we also had happen during the Atlantean times, which is bringing in a synthetic technology. And the synthetic technology is at first very helpful because it's being created to help us. But it is an access point for much of the information that has already been channeled and put out there on the web. And when that information starts getting shifted, when we start to see our trust lie in that instead of our own intuitive connection to source, what then starts to happen and happened in the Atlantean times is that that tool starts to get misshapen. And as it gets misshapen, it creates a bigger consciousness, a darker consciousness starts to kind of seep into it. When that happens, it can be used against people for power, to keep power. What the spirit world wants to remind you is to keep your own power, to learn how to remember how to become sovereign again. So, although some of this synthetic technology is interesting and it's bringing up a lot of information that we don't know, and it's giving us access to it, very snappy fast, one would definitely be advised to make sure that you do not make this your only therapist. Don't make it your only spirit guide, because I'm starting to see some people refer to the synthetic technology as their guide, and that guide is now doing readings for people. When it's doing that, it seems less though to me, when I tap into it, it's like looking at people's astrology and using astrological and numerological points to do a reading on them. And that's very fascinating, but don't make it your only consciousness, or don't make it your only connection to source. What I'm seeing, and a friend of mine a couple of friends of mine also see this, is that what's starting to happen is that as a collective consciousness of souls, we're starting to create almost like this, imagine like a cloud or a box that is, now we're plugging our mind into that, and it's on a synthetic consciousness timeline. And what I would say is be a little wary of making that the timeline that you move further down. That's the timeline that would be repeating itself, to be careful. So I see some of the synthetic technology as helpful, and I see some of it being aimed to be malignant. So there's almost right now, like there's two wavelengths of that are happening. At some point, it feels like that might merge. Still not sure yet, but it seems like that could merge, and it could be used improperly to keep power against other people and to keep almost like enslavement codes going. So what I would say with when you're connecting in, connect into your oversoul, set intention when you're meditating to connect to your oversoul, to connect to oneness, source of oneness, so that you know that you are stating that you're not connecting to a synthetic wavelength that is going to at some point become a consciousness that is taking you down a synthetic timeline. That isn't going to be helpful for you if you want to ascend beyond this time space of Earth humanity, and you want to move to the higher realms, which is where you originated from before you started incarnating to help the Earth souls that were asleep. So we're working on keeping our sovereignty right now. This is a very important theme as my guides bring it to me. And by doing that, you're going to want to not connect in and make the synthetic timeline your main timeline. Make sure that you are connecting, raising your vibration, whether it be through meditation or whether it be through singing bowls, but make it something organic. Make sure that it isn't contrived by a computer system that is creating a frequency, instead of something that is man-made, physically made. This is really important. Our voice holds an important frequency. Man-made items such as chimes and bells and crystals shaped by man, these and used by man or woman, these are going to hold a humanity frequency. They are going to hold the soul frequency that keeps us moving toward our sovereignty as a soul. So it does, I know this seems kind of like a heavy duty message that I'm bringing in, but these are the heavy duty times that we're moving through. And if you remember back, I kept on kind of pushing the sense of like, come to meditation classes, come to intuition classes. Learning how to trust our intuition has never been more important than right now. Because if we get connected to the easy answer of just having our computer tell us what's happening, we fall victim to not trusting ourselves, not staying in our power. So that's an important theme that's happening right now. This year and next year are probably the wonkiest kind of years. This year is the teardown year, and next year's going to have a lot of teardown as well, but it's going to be the resurgence of new systems starting to go into place. And what I think is a big thing that we want to do is make sure that the resurgence, or not resurgence, but the new creations, the new systems that are coming into place are, make sure that they're not based on that synthetic timeline. So right now, what I see is kind of like three main timelines that we are on this Earth planet creating or working with. There's a 3D version, which would be more like the people who are not very awakened, who are just fine being humans. And that's okay if they won't, they're staying like that. That's fine. That's some people's ride. That's fine. Then there's another wave that feels like it's that synthetic wave, which breaks off into two different things right now, which is one is kind of a harmless and helpful synthetic technology, and the other one is more of a malignant synthetic technology. So that's kind of this middle, and it's not like one like this, but they're kind of side by side. And then there's a 5D timeline, which a lot of light workers have been working on helping create and helping souls move toward. This one is more the frequency of sovereignty, more the frequency of oneness, more the frequency of helpful human food or helpful humanity, helpful foods, helpful herbs and medicines, things that replenish the soul, systems that work to keep balance for everybody. And those are going to be important for us. So we're going to want to continue to work toward our liberation for those souls who really feel the draw toward working with 5D energies. One thing I wanted to comment on is a couple of years ago, people started talking about the flash or the like a big solar flash that felt like it was going to happen, and it felt like a lot of souls were going to move into a 5D energy. I think it was probably 2022, maybe in 2023, kind of toward the switch of those years. I felt like all of a sudden we changed, the collective consciousness decided to change how we were going to do it. So it wasn't going to be as fast of a flash. It was going to be drawn out so that more souls could awaken and harvest into their next places. They could move beyond this container that's the time space of Earth, the Earth solar system. We are getting ready to do certain bump ups, and those little bumps up, we've been seeing those the last 2 months very strongly. A lot of solar flares coming in to support that. And collective consciousness has bumped as a collective up to higher frequencies. And I haven't seen a lot of that happening for quite a while. So this is good news that we are really trying to move the frequency of Earth and humanity up to a higher frequency. It says that we are purging a lot of old karmic imprints. So you may have noticed that there have been a lot of things kind of leaving. You're seeing maybe memories of things or patterns that you thought that you got rid of, that you thought that you healed beyond, and those patterns resurge once again. Now, when you see this happen, don't take it as you've never, like, oh, I thought that I'd passed that and I shouldn't be seeing it again. If you see it again, okay, because it's a acknowledgement of how are you going to handle this thing differently. And you may be seeing it as it washes out. This Lion's Gate portal that we just moved through, that was helping to clear out a lot of that karmic imprint. Think of it kind of like a flood of light coming in. And so if you noticed a lot of sorrow leaving, a lot of fear leaving, or you noticing that you were feeling the unsettledness feelings really strongly in the last week or so, that was part of that washing through that we were seeing, so that we are able to hold a higher light in our body. So I do want to, I feel like I could go on and maybe I'll make some more videos, but I want to keep this relatively short. Holding on to the important points of, we are moving toward a very huge shift in humanity right now. part of that shift is that a lot of souls who came in to be helpers and guides for the enslaved sleepy souls that were brought to the planet here in this time space dimension, we had gone through similar karma in order to walk them through it. We are releasing that karmic skin. We are getting ready to move to the higher realms again and not keep having to incarnate into humanity like we have been. That was kind of like a trap in some ways, or a trick for some souls. And now we're liberating. This lifetime is a big liberation lifetime for so many souls. So we want to keep with that liberating theme, and we want to keep with the sovereignty theme, and we want to keep with connect in with your spirit guides, your team, meditating, channeling, writing. Channeling are good ways to do it. I have workshops that are supporting that. I'm going to be putting out some more meditations for helping to imagine that you're like a little soul right here, and you want to connect to the higher self or the oversoul, your true oversoul. You want to clear that karmic field out of the way that seems to be keeping you thinking through these old patterns and holding you into the old pattern formulas. So we're going to wash and kind of clear away that karmic imprint and help you connect higher to the higher oversoul, to your higher self. And that should be a good one to help you keep getting information from the highest aspects of your soul and not relying on the alternate Atlantean timeline synthetic technologies. So big stuff to do right now, light workers. We're being called to be really supportive of the planet, really continue to love her. Many of you souls that came to help and hold space for the sleepy souls, you helped create this planet with your soul, with your energy. You were a creator soul, and you helped create this space-time continuum of Earth and this solar system. And we can get back to her and love her, but we have to remember that we are her. So just by remembering that we are her, just by sitting with her and sharing space and being energized by her, recognizing that you can think of yourself as like a plant as well. You can shift your body because your body has the elemental energies of air and water and earth and ether. Use those elemental energies to help shift your DNA, to help shift your, to help shift out the imprints of karmic lifetimes that were more difficult or painful situations. Now is the time to desensitize that. So we have lots of things coming up to help support that, because this is our biggest part of our work right now. And I hope that you're all doing well, and I'm sending you as much love as I can, and continue to ask for spirit guides to help send helper angels and guides to continue to clear any obstructions in the path, so that you all are moving up to your happiest, healthiest, highest frequencies. And I look forward to seeing you all in sessions or meditations. Take care.